Gilberto Ramirez wins a 12-round unanimous decision over Arthur Abraham to become the new WBO super middleweight world champion. My first reaction when the fight was over, because it was very obvious who the winner was far before the final bell, but when we did get to the final bell and got the announcement, my reaction was, thank God for that. Because no disrespect to Arthur Abraham, but he's been holding that WBO belt hostage over there in Germany with seemingly no intention of taking on any serious opposition or unifying with any of the other champions in the division. And it's just been frustrating to watch. So now that Ramirez has relieved him of that title, Abraham can go and disappear off into the wilderness for all I care, because we need champions in the super middleweight division with ambition, not just some old trial horse of a champion who is looking to just milk his belt against lower tier fighters and just get payday after payday in Germany. We need to see people with ambition who want to try and conquer the world. Will Gilberto Ramirez be that guy? I don't know. Let's hope so. He is 24 years old, so he's young. He's a 6 foot, 2.5 inch southpaw from Mexico. There are not too many Mexican super middleweights. In terms of the way the fight went, it was easy, really, for Gilberto Ramirez. He just comprehensively outboxed Arthur Abraham. Used movement, used distance, used his far superior reach, and just peppered him with shots, hit him with body shots, did what he wanted for the most part. Abraham struggled with the southpaw angles. He struggled with the height. He struggled with the reach. He struggled with the work rate. Abraham, particularly in the latter stages of his career, has never had a great work rate. And on top of all that, I think Abraham felt like a fish out of water here, because he's been fighting in his comfort zone over there in Germany on those Sauerland shows for a very, very long time. So having to go over to the United States, I believe it was because Ramirez's people won the purse bid. Having to go over to the United States, fight outside of his comfort zone in a different time zone and all that type of stuff, I think that also affected Arthur Abraham's performance. I'm not making no excuses for him, but I'm just being realistic. When a guy is so used to fighting at home and having things all his own way, when he all of a sudden has to go all the way across the world, different time zone, different environment, different people, different atmosphere, you don't have loads of people cheering you on and all that type of stuff that he's used to, it can affect you. And I think to some degree it did affect Arthur Abraham. I don't think it affected him to the point where it would have made the difference between winning and losing. No, I think he would have lost to Ramirez anyway. But he may have had more pep in his step had this fight taken place back in Germany. It is what it is. He lost the fight. The super middleweight division moves on. New WBO champion. What do you think of Gilberto Ramirez? He's had 34 fights, 24 knockouts. His level of opposition has been okay for a contender. Hasn't been terrible. It's been okay. Now he's got the biggest name on his resume so far, Arthur Abraham, in a fairly plain sailing, easy type of fight. There was, Arthur Abraham had moments here and there, but for the most part, it was all Ramirez. Like I say, how highly do you rate him? Who would you like to see him fight next? Which one of the other champions would you like to see him unify with? If there are some contenders out there that you'd like to see Ramirez fight, which ones are they? Who do you think could beat Ramirez? Who do you think Ramirez could beat? I know these are questions which are difficult to answer when we don't know that much about Ramirez. As I say, his opposition hasn't been terrible leading up to this title fight, but it hasn't been elite level either. So there are questions there from him, but given the fact this guy's gone 12 rounds and kept up a fairly decent work rate, we were able to deduce something from the Arthur Abraham fight. Maybe the way he deals with this particular style we can take that forward into the future and say, okay, somebody with a similar style, he may do well with. Now, one of the things that the commentators mentioned, the HBO crew, they said that Ramirez, even though he's tall, even though he's got long arms, he tends to hunch over a little bit at times and doesn't get full extension on all his shots and doesn't always maximize his height the way that he could. And I agree with that. But I think, most Mexican fighters and most Mexican trainers, this is how they go about things. These are the boxing stances that they're used to having for the most part. Okay, now there's always exceptions. There are Mexicans out there who are more slick and have a stance which is not the stereotypical Mexican boxing stance. But Ramirez, as I say, is in terms of his stance, he could definitely use some improvement and learn how to maximize his height and reach better, just as the HBO crew was saying. I definitely agree with that. So, yeah. But anyways, a young guy, as I say, 24 years old. So, plenty of improvement that he can make. He's got his whole career ahead of him. Let's see where he goes and what he can do. Drop your comments in the comment section below and let me know how you feel about everything I've talked about in this video. It's your boy Hatman. I'm out.